స్క్రీన్ కనిపిస్తుంది కదా? హలో
Yes, bhai.
Not
ప్రకాష్,
కనిపిస్తుంది నాకు.
so let's start with GitHub. So till now we discussed everything that is related to the local repository. Now we will focus on moving on to the shared repository, which is like cloud, which is the GitHub thing. So we will move on to that now. So if you look at this slide, we see till now we are operating on the local repository. Now we know what are the drawbacks of the local repository. Let's say if our local system gets crashed, so it's not a reliable solution. So if this gets crashed, we cannot retrieve the data back. So it is always recommended to store the data, whatever that is there in the remote repository. So here the remote repository is a GitHub, and the local repository that we are working on, the version control that we are using is the Git. So as we already discussed, the Git is a separate software and GitHub is a separate tool. It's a service provider. I mean to say cloud service provider, but there is a strong connection that has been established between Git and GitHub, because the feasibility of establishing a connection between GitHub and Git is very strong. That's the reason we think like it's a combined tool. So but these two are separate tools, and we have to establish the connection between these two separate tools that were there. So till now we have seen Git. We know everything about local repository, doing everything on the local repository. Now we are moving to the remote repository. So the first thing that we have to do is, the most important thing is pushing the data from the local repository to the remote repository. So that is what we are interested in. So that's the first step, and then we'll keep on exploring different things on moving our data to the GitHub or the remote repository. Okay, so the first thing that we have to do is moving the data, whatever that is there in the local repository, to the remote repository. So before that, let's start opening the GitHub repository and see what all that were there in this GitHub repository. So if I say I'm removing this, I'm going to my particular GitHub repository. So I hope every one of you have done creating a GitHub account, right? Hello. So when you say GitHub, so this is the official portal of the github.com. So in this we will have multiple repositories. Let me get you a little understanding of this. Before that, let me do some initial things which I have to do. Okay, so now let me just walk you through different things that were there in the GitHub. So this is how basically a GitHub looks like. So this is the official portal we do have here, and once you register your account, you will see these things over here. So the first thing is your profile. If you go to your profile, you can see all the details, the repositories that you have, and all the stuff. So the first thing is to move the code from the local repository to the cloud repository, which is the GitHub. We need to create a repository first. So to create a repository, once you log into the application, you can do it either ways. You can go to your my profile thing and go to your repositories, and once you go to your repositories, you can see a button called as new button here. So if you click on this new button, you can create a new repository. So this is one way of creating a repository, and the other way is if you go on to the home screen itself, here you have something called as a new. under the repository. So you can even click on this new button and create a new repository. So these are the two ways in which you can create a repository. So once I click on this new button, so you have something called as import a repository. So import a repository works when you want to import a repository from the another kind of cloud version control system like GitHub. We also have SVN, Tortoise, and all this stuff, right? So if you want to import a project from those kind of software version control systems, so you have to use this import a repository link. But right now we are not going to that level. So we were just trying to create a repository in this particular GitHub folder. So to create a repository, so I'm the owner because I'm the owner with which I logged in. So I'm this owner, and I'm giving the repository name. You can name it as something like GitHub Explore. Let's say it as GitHub Explore. So this is my repository name, and you can give a short description on this repository. And you have two files over here. One is public and the other one is private. Okay, one is the public and the other one is private. So let's understand what is a public repository and what is a private repository. So when I say public repository, here itself it is written like anyone on the internet can access this repository. You choose who to commit. So whenever someone wants to do changes on this repository, you have to control them, but anyone on the internet will be able to access your project. They will be able to see your project, but they will not be able to modify your project. What I mean to say is let us create a repository with the public a public kind of repository, and then we will move on to the private repository. What does private repository means is you choose who can see and also commit to this repository. So here you can choose to whom you want to give the access to see your project and also to commit the project. So that is what basically private repository means, whereas public repository is something which is I mean, when I say public repository, anyone on the internet will be able to see this repository. You choose who to commit. So committing is something which will, I mean, who wants to modify your repository will be in your control, but anyone on the internet will be able to see your project. So let's see how basically it works. If I create a project with public access, so anyone on the internet should be able to access this, right? So I click on create repository. Once I clicked on create repository, this is the repository which got created. So this is a new repository that got created for us. So if you again go back to this home page by clicking on this icon, you will see our new repository got created, Mohan Pulibanti and GitHub Explore. So if I go inside this, so this is our project, and the link of our particular project is, or our repository is this one, https://github.com mohan.pulibanti@gmail.com. So if you take this URL, so this is the link to copy that URL. So I take this URL, I copied this, and I'm opening a new tab here. So let's go to another user and just type this. So this is another user. So I'm just typing my this one over here. So when I type this link, so any user on the internet who have access to this Git or who has an account should be able to see this link. So this is a direct link. Anyone, like this is a different user, like he is Raghuvamshi. So he has access to this particular Git repository. So as this is a public repository, he is able to access this particular link. So he is able to see this particular repository and also different options that are available. Now let me change my repository to a private repository. So to change any repository from public repository, to change the repository from public repository to the private repository, you have to go to the settings. So here you have something called as settings. So in the settings, if you scroll down, so if you scroll down to the end, so this is the danger zone, right? We have change repository visibility, transfer ownership. These are like important things which you have to do carefully. That's why it is written as danger zone. Now here there is an option like change repository visibility. So here you can make the change from public to private or private to public. So once I click on this change visibility, So here there is an option for us whether you want to make it as a public or whether you want to make it as a private. So let's say I want to change it to private now. So I selected this and now I'm scrolling down. Now what I have to do, I need to paste this. So I have to type this to confirm, and I need to click on this I understand change repository visibility. So now I changed the visibility from public to private. It is done. Now if you go back to the other website, so if I go back here and if I access this particular link now, so now you're getting it as 404. I means now that repository is not visible to the private. So I mean anyone on this internet will not be able to access that particular repository. So that is what actually it means is. Okay. Now if I remove this this repository name here, now look at this. He's able to access my profile, so this will be visible back because this is like a free tier one. So he's able to access my profile but not able to access the repositories which are created privately. Okay, so this is a public repository, this is a public repository, but there is under the Mohan Pulibanti. Sorry, where is that repository? So he is not even able to see the private repositories, only the public repositories are visible to him. There is an one I have 3 repositories, right, but only 2 are visible because both of these repositories are public. The other private repository is not actually visible to us. So this is how we conclude that private repository is not visible for, actually private repository is not visible for anyone. So this is what basically a private repository and public repository means. And now if we move on back to my repository, so I changed that public repository to the private repository. Now for now let's go back and change it to public only. Let's explore private stuff later. So I'm again bringing it back to public repository and I'm copying this, pasting it here. So I understand change repository visibility. So I made it as public again. So if I go back to my repository and let me take that repository URL, or else if I refresh this particular page, I see the third repository, GitHub Explore. So this is what the access levels of the private repository and the public repository is. Now so we were exploring things like this. So now come back to our repository. So what it is saying, so if you come down here, so this is the URL of the repository. So we need to use this to pull the code, to push the code from the local repository to the remote repository. So here they have given few commands for us. So what are they? So they are giving create a new repository on the command line. So he's asking us to create a new repository from the command line, but we created it on the portal, right? So we doesn't need to follow this. So if the repository is already created, we need to go ahead with this, like push an existing repository from the command line. So we have a local repository which is existing. Now we want to push that code from the local repository to the remote repository, right? So now let me go back to this Git 3 hub and let me create a folder which is the like local repository. Now I'm creating a folder we called as local repo. So here I will have the code. I'll create some code and I want to push this code from the local repository to this particular repository, the repository on the GitHub. So to do that, the first thing I have to do is I have to initialize the Git here, right? So the first thing is I need to initiate the Git. Once the Git is initiated, I will create a new text file with name as text1. I'm creating a text document as text1. And now I'll say git add text1.txt. So I added a text and say git commit. I'm committing this text .txt -m commit 1. Okay, so now we created a master branch and we committed that code, the text file, to this master branch. Now we committed the code to the local repository. Now we have to move this code from the local repository to the shared repository, right? So that is what we have to do. Or instead, let's do this way. I'm deleting these things, and let me delete this as well. Let me create a new repository. Let me create a folder of master, because that would be much better. I'm creating a folder of master. Inside that I'll creating a text file of master file. Okay, I'm doing this. So again I'm creating a new, initiating the repository again, so which is git init. So git add dot, I'm adding everything, git commit -a -m, and the commit message is m1. So I'm committing the message as well. If I say git log, so I have a commit message, and along with the, I have a commit id along with the message m1, right? So I have these details now with me. Now what happens next is something that we have to look for. Now the next thing is we have to move the file from the local repository to the now we have to move the file from the local repository to the shared repository, right, which is the GitHub repository. For that, the website itself has provided few things for us. The first step is we have to add git remote add and origin and the URL. Let's understand what basically this is. So when you want to establish a connection from local repository to the remote repository, we know Git is a separate software tool and GitHub is a separate software tool, right? So we want to establish a connection between these two. To establish a connection between these two, we have something called as git remote. Git remote is nothing but we are connecting to a remote repository. Add so git remote add means we are just connecting to a, we are adding a remote repository connection. Origin is nothing but it is so origin is nothing but it's an aliases, it's a name or the other name that we use for the URL. So this is the URL that we give, right? So we give this URL only for one time. So later we are gonna use the aliases. This aliases represents this URL. That is what basically origin means. Origin can be any name, it is up to you, but whatever name that gives to you, it is the aliases or the other name for the URL. So whenever in future you want to specify the URL, instead of specifying the URL, you can specify this name. So this is the command which establishes a connection between the local repository and the remote repository. So git remote add origin and the URL of this remote repository. So when you give this, a connection will be established between the local repository and the remote repository. Okay, so git remote add is a new remote session. You can consider it that way. Origin is the aliases of the URL and URL is the remote repository URL. Okay, once the connection is established, if you want to push the code from the local repository to the remote repository, you have to use a command called as git push. Once you use this command, the code from the local repository will be pushed to the remote repository. And again, when you use git pull is nothing but if you have something that is there on the repository that you want on the local repository, you can use git pull to get the data from the remote repository to the local repository. Let's say I created some files on the remote repository and I committed them. If I want those files to be on the local repository, then I have to use the git pull. So this is all about the basic things to push the data to a remote repository and to pull the data from the remote repository to the local repository. Okay, so this is all about connecting a GitHub to the Git. Okay, now okay, now let's try this practically. So now the first thing is we need to establish a connection from the local to the remote repository. So for that, the command we have seen is git remote add origin. It can be any name again, and the URL. So the same will be given in this particular command as well. So if you see this command, so git remote add origin, and this is the URL of the repository. So this is the URL I told you, right? So this is the URL of the repository. So the first command is given by them only. So if you copy this command and execute that, a connection will be established between the local repository and the remote repository. Okay. So if I execute this particular command, control V, sorry, I paste this and execute this. So a connection is established or not. Now we haven't got any message saying like the connection is successful or not successful, right? So to know whether the connection is successful or not, we have to use git push, right? So git push is something which pushes the data from the local repository to the remote repository. Okay. So if I say git push, okay, is the command which is used to push the code from the local repository to the remote repository, and to where I have to push has to be specified, right? I mean to say from where to where I have to push. So origin is something to which I have to push. Origin is nothing but origin is the aliases for this URL. So to this URL where my remote repository is there, I have to push there from my master. So master is my local repository. So local repository branch. Origin is the, what is the origin? Origin is the aliases of the remote repository, and the remote repository URL is this thing, and git push is something which we use to push the data from the local repository to the remote repository. Okay. Git push origin master. Origin is the remote repository aliases of the URL, and master is the local repositories branch. Okay. When I execute this, what it is asking? It is asking for a personal access token. What does this mean by personal access token? So we need to authenticate, right? Not everyone can commit the code to the local repository, that we already have seen. So anyone on the, if it is a public repository, anyone on the internet will be able to see that, but not everyone can commit that. So if someone has to commit that, the owner of the repository has to authorize that. Authorization is nothing but, so he should be able to log into the GitHub using the browser, using the browser sign in by giving username password, but shortly this is going to be deprecated. So the only possible way to connect to the GitHub repository in future would be personal access token. So we need a personal access token to connect to that particular GitHub repository. So what does this basically means is, what is personal access token and how, from where do we get this? So personal access token is a token. It's like a key for us. So this key will be used by the GitHub to unlock its access. Okay. So to get this key, we have to go this way. So go to the GitHub repository. Go to the GitHub repository and expand this. Once you expand this, go to settings. Once you go to settings, I'm scrolling down. Once I scroll down, there is something called as developer settings. Okay, so I'm repeating again for you. So it's the path. Go to your profile, go to settings. Once you are on settings, scroll down, you will see something called as developer settings. So if you go to the developer settings, you see something called as personal access token. So click on this personal access token, and you have something called as generate new token. Here I will generate a new token by clicking on this, and here we need to generate a personal access token. So then let's say the name of the token is token for GitHub. Okay, this is the token name, and the expiration is whether you want to get this expired in 60 days, 30 days, or whatever it is. I'm giving it as 30 days for now. And scope of this, and what level of access that you want to give for this particular personal access token. So I'm selecting almost everything except the admin things, because we may not need admin rights for now. So just select the choose suitable permissions that you want to give to the user. I'm giving all the permissions except the what to say admin things. So if I scroll down and see, so I selected everything except the admin things, and I'm generating a token. Once the token is generated, you will get something like this. So you will get an code, and this code is nothing but the personal access token. So I'm copying this code from here, and I'm going here, and I'm giving it as a personal access token which I generated from my repository, and I'm clicking on sign in. Once I clicked on sign in by giving the personal repository, now look at this, it has done something. So it pushed the data from the master of the local branch to the master of the remote branch. So if I go back to my repository, which was there earlier, which we created just now, so the repository is GitHub Explorer. So if I open this, so I have a master file here. So there is one branch which is master, and if I go inside this master, so there is a file called as masterfile.txt. Okay, this is the file which we have in the local that is pushed to the remote repository. Now the file is pushed to the remote repository. Even you can see the history over here. So this is the hexadecimal code of this particular commit. Okay, so this is how you pull the data from, you push the data from the local repository to the remote repository. Is that clear?
Yes, Mohan, clear now.
Okay. Next, what I have to go is but I'm seriously saying this is so complicated. Request to keep all your concentration here. Even for, I don't know whether for explaining me it would be difficult. It's like a very tricky concept. Not this one. Whatever we're going to discuss today, it's like very tricky, very interesting, and very complicated as well. I'll try my best to explain it in a best way, but yeah, requesting you to make this like the next thing that we are gonna think is okay. So this is the next thing that we have to do. That is, so this is now we push this to our remote repository, right? Now I am creating a new folder, which is like feature. So I'm creating a new folder, and also let's say now we pushed one branch, right? We pushed the master branch to the remote repository. Now we will try to create a feature branch, and we will try to push that feature branch to the remote repository, and let's see how this basically happens. Creating a new branch in the remote repository and pushing the data from the local branch to the remote branch, which is a different branch than the master. So to create a new branch on the local repository, so what I have to do, so I need to say git switch -c and the branch name, which is like future. So I'm creating a new feature branch now. So if I say git log, whatever commits that are there for the master branch are there now. Okay, so git log is there now, and now I'm doing some commits again. So I'm doing some commits on this git add dot git commit and git commit -a git commit the let's say in the future file, let me create a new feature text file. Feature text file is created. So this needs to be committed now. Okay, how to commit this? So git commit hyphen a, sorry, hyphen a means everything, and hyphen m, and I'm giving it as f1. This is the future one commit. So I'm done with this. Untracked files. Okay, so we have executed before creating this file. That's the reason. Git add, I'm doing it again. Git add dot git commit hyphen a everything hyphen m, and I'm giving it as f1. Okay, with this a commit is created. Okay, the commit is done. So now if I execute the log here, so I have two commits on the future branch and one commit on the master branch. Now my intention is to push the data from the future branch to the remote repository. So from the remote repository, so from the local repository, the branch of future has to be pushed to the remote repository. On the remote repository, I also have to create a new branch, and that the data that is there in the future branch has to be pushed to the remote repository. Okay, so how to do that is, so again the same thing. So git push is the command to push the data from the local repository to the remote repository, and where I want to push it to the origin, which is the aliases for the remote repository URL, and the branch name that I want to push. So the branch name that I am giving is feature. So with this branch name, whatever the data that is there in the future branch will be pushed into the remote repository. So if I execute this particular query, so this goes this way. So the data from this future branch will be pushed to the remote repository. So if I go to this remote repository again, if I go to the remote repository again, so there are two things here. So if I expand this, here you can see the list of branches that are basically there. So if I expand this, earlier we have only master, now we have both master as well as future. So if you go to the future, so you can see you have two folders. One is future with a file inside it as feature text, and if you come back here, there is a master file, and inside the master file you have something like this, master file.txt. So with this way, what we have done, we were able to push the code that is there on the local repository to the remote repository. So the only command that we used is git push hyphen origin and the master. If it is master, if it is master, if it is feature branch, if it is, that is future branch. Okay, right? So one thing that you have to notice here is the second time when we executed git push origin master, it didn't ask us for the personal access token, correct? When we have done it for the first time, when we push the master code like git push origin master, when I gave this, it asked for the personal access token, but here it didn't ask for the personal access token. The reason is, so once you gave the personal access token in that window, it will store that lock in the credentials managers. So if you go to the credentials managers in your system, and if you open this, so if you go to the window credentials and if you scroll down, you will see something called as GitHub. Okay, so this is the GitHub. So inside this GitHub, your credentials will be stored. Okay, so your credentials will be stored inside this. So if you remove this and if you are trying to push it again, it will ask for the credentials, but for now these credentials are stored here. So that's the reason it is not asking for the credentials again and again. So that is what that is one of the takeaways that you have to understand. So credentials will be stored on credentials manager, window credentials, and you will see the entry for the git over there. Okay, so that is a second thing. Now let's understand the different story, the other story. So now what we are doing, we are just pushing the data from this local repository to the remote repository. So it is very simple. It looked very simple for us. We just establish a connection using git remote add origin URL, and we just push the code from the local repository to the remote repository. Now we have to carefully understand the vice versa. If I created a new branch on the remote repository and I want that remote repository new branch onto my local repository, I need to maintain a sync between the remote repository to the local repository. So this is something what I'm talking about. This looks a little complicated, but let's concentrate and try to break it up as much as possible. Okay, so now let's carefully understand. I told the target now is to get the data from the remote repository that we have created, whether it can be a new branch or a new commit that we do on the remote repository has to be brought onto the local repository. So that is something that we are gonna do it now. So we have done git pushing from the local repository to the remote repository. We created two branches, one is master branch and the other one is future branch. We have successfully pushed both to the remote repository. Now the second case is in my remote repository, which is the GitHub, I will create a new branch. Okay, new branch in the sense, how can I create a new branches? So this is the drop down in my repository. If you open my repository, you will see a drop down. If I expand this drop down, if I give some name over there, future duplicate. So this is like I'm creating a new branch with future duplicate by using future branch. So I'm just clicking on this future duplicate and I'm creating a new branch. And inside this new branch, I'm also creating a new file and I'll commit that. So how to create a new file and how to commit a file here is, so there is a drop down here, right? Add file. So you just need to expand this, click on create a new file. Once you click on create a new file, you can give some name over here. Let's say sample file.txt. I'm creating a text file with this name, and I'm coming down and just give a commit message similar how we give in the local repository. So sample text file commit, sample text file commit. Okay, so I'm giving it as a sample text file commit and I'm committing this particular file. So I'm committing this new file. Once I committed this file, so now I have three branches in my remote repository, right? One is master, the other one is future, other one is future duplicate. Okay, so these are the three files. Now I want to bring the like featured duplicate file onto my local repository. On my local repository I have master and future. From there I pushed here, but I created a separate branch called as future duplicate on the remote repository. I want this on my local repository. So that is our target right now. So before going to that, before understanding how we are getting that to our local repository, we need to understand this particular slide. Okay, so what is this slide says is, you know what is local branch, right?
Yes,
Hello.
ma'am.
Yeah, you know what is local branch, and uh, you know what is remote branch. Remote branch is nothing but what is there on the cloud. Okay, so this is like cloud. This remote branch will be there on the cloud and we named it as an origin. Origin is an aliases. Local branch is something which is there on your local repository. So when you execute git push origin master, what is happening is, so if you carefully see this, there is no direct relation between local branch and the remote repository. So the commit or the push that we do will not directly go from local branch to the remote branch, but there will be a medium in between these two, which is called as remote tracking branch. So this remote tracking branch is, what is this remote tracking branch is? It is basically this remote tracking branch will basically act as a bridge between the local branch and the remote branch. Okay, so it is a local copy of the remote branch. So this is like a local copy of this remote branch. So the push is not directly replicating on the remote branch. It is going over the remote tracking branch. Okay, once you execute git push origin master, whatever push that you are doing, it will comes to the remote tracking branch, and from the remote tracking branch it goes to the master branch of the remote. Okay, so that is how basically the transaction goes. So that is what basically remote tracking branch is. Remote tracking branch is a branch which has, what's happening. So remote tracking branch is something which acts like a mediator between the local branch and the remote branch, and whatever code that we push from the local branch to the remote branch directly won't be directly pushed to the remote branch. It comes via remote tracking branch. The changes will go to the remote tracking branch and from there it comes to the master branch. Okay, so is that clear? Are you getting this?
Yeah, so far we are clear with Mohan.
Okay, you understand remote tracking branch, right?
Mm.
So you need to understand remote tracking branch as a bridge between local branch to the remote branch. Okay, so whatever changes that you are doing using git push, they will be there on the remote tracking branch, and from the remote tracking branch it goes to the remote branch. So that is something which you have to understand. So now, how to look at the remote tracking branches? So whenever you do a push, whenever you do git push origin future, basically the git will create this remote tracking branch and it push that data to the remote tracking branch. From the remote tracking branch it will push the code to the remote repository. So to look at that, to look at the branches on the local repository, the command that we use is git branch, right? So when you use git branch, it gives us all the branches that are, or all the branches that are in there on the local repository. But if you want to look for all the branches like remote tracking branches in the local repository, so we have a command called as git branch -v, sorry, -a. So when you give this, it shows us all the branches along with the local branches and also the remote tracking branches. So future branch we have master branch. Along with that we have two more branches. These two branches which are in the red color marks are called as remote tracking branches. As I told you, whenever you are pushing the code from local repository to the remote repository, by default Git will create a branch called as remote tracking branch, and those paths will be something like this. So it is pointing to remote, origin and the master branch. So we push two branches, right? One is the master branch and the other one is future branch. That's why it created two future branches, and using those, two remote tracking branches, using these two remote tracking branches, it pushes the code to the remote repository. That's why you are seeing two more branches like this. Okay, are you getting this?
Yes, Mohan.
Okay, now one thing you understand here clearly, Ganesh Kati adotna. Hello Ganesh. Lokesh.
Mohan.
Clear on that?
Okay, Mohan.
Difficult main branches idea. So
First
Prakash
two
okay
sessions
kada?
attend అవ్వలే కదా, so unable to get it properly. I will go through the recordings, Mohan.
Prakash ఇంతవరకు క్లియరే కదా?
సో నాకు ఇంతవరకు క్లియర్గా ఉంది మోహన్ నాకైతే.
ఓకే, సో ఎందుకంటే ఇక్కడ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ ఇవి నెక్స్ట్ బేస్ అన్నమాట. So what happens is these are the remote tracking branches. Now if you carefully observe, we have only two branches on the local repository, right? We have future branch and master branch on the local repository, but on the remote repository, how many branches do we have?
So we have three.
We have three branches, right? But we are not seeing that the third branch over here. When we say git branch -a, we will see only remote tracking branches as well as the local branches. We cannot see branches on the remote repository. So to look at the branches on the remote repository, you need to use the command called as git ls-remote. When I execute this command, it will basically show us all the all the branches that are there on the GitHub. So the branches are master, feature duplicate and the feature. So these are the three branches that we have on the remote repository. Okay.
Okay, Mohan.
So this is one such command. So the first command is git branch -a, which is used to see all the branches including local branches and the remote tracking branches, and git ls remote is used to see the command is used to see the branches on the remote repository with this URL. And there is another command called as git branch -r. Okay, so when I say git branch -r, it shows us only remote tracking repositories. It will not show us the local repositories. So R stands for remote tracking, A stands for all. So when you say all the repositories which are like local repositories and remote tracking repositories will be shown to us. And if you execute git branch -r, only remote tracking repositories, which are the mediators between the remote repository and the local repository, only will be shown. Okay, now what we have to achieve, what is that we want to basically achieve? So we want to get the code that is committed on the remote repository, we want to get that to the local repository, right? So for that, what you have to do is you have to do this way. So let me take you to another slide. So what happens is, this is the vice versa. So what we understood, so remote tracking branch is there. When you want to push the code, it goes to the remote tracking branch, and from the remote tracking branch, it comes to the master branch, right? That is what we understood, and that is what we have already seen as well. But even when you want to get the code from the remote repository to the local repository, it follows the same procedure. So whatever code that is there on the remote repository will be placed onto the remote tracking repository, and from the remote tracking repository, it comes to the local branch. Okay, it's like vice versa kind of thing. So when you execute a command called as git fetch will bring the data from the remote repository onto the remote tracking branch, not onto the local branch. So be very cautious over here. Git fetch will only get the data from the master branch onto the remote tracking branch. It will not get the data onto the local branch. So when you execute git fetch, it will put the data on the local repository, on the remote repository, onto the remote tracking branch. And once you execute git merge, it will get the data from the remote tracking branch onto the master branch. Okay, so this is the combination of git fetch plus git merge is equal to git pull origin master. So when you execute git pull origin master, it is the combination of get fetch plus git merge. It means git pull will get all the data from the master branch onto your local repository. Okay, now let's see this practically, how this is happening. So when I execute a command called as git fetch, what happens is I executed a command called as git fetch. Once I executed git fetch, and if I execute this git branch -r, so now you are seeing 3 remote tracking repositories, right? So why you are seeing this particular remote repository, remote tracking branch? The reason is you have this branch on the remote repository, and you executed command called as git fetch. Once you execute a command called as git fetch, it basically gets the data from this remote repository onto the remote tracking repository, right? So that's the reason. By default, git will create a new remote tracking repository, and it will place all the code onto this repository. Okay, so but if you go to the UI, if you go to the UI over here, which is remote repository, you're not seeing that change. Whatever change that you have done in this particular branch, like you created a new file, right? Along with this feature and master, you created a new file, but you're not seeing that on the local repository, right? So the reason is, so if you see git branch -a, so which gives us all the local repositories and the remote repositories, right? So if you execute this particular command, you are seeing only 2 branches on the locals, but you have 3 branches on the 3 remote tracking branches for the 3 branches that are there on the remote repository. So for that, what you have to, if you want to get this code from the remote repository onto the local branch, what you have to do is you need to simply check out to that particular remote tracking branch, git checkout, and this is the remote tracking branch that you want to check out. So do a right click on it, copy this, and paste it here, or automatically pasted here. So if I click on enter, so now you got that new file here, sample file, but it became a detached branch, right? So we discussed what is a detached branch as well. If I say git branch, so it is a detached branch. So once it is a detached branch, what we have to do, Prakash, can you say this? Once you have a detached branch, if you want to merge that with the master branch or something, what exactly we have to do?
So we need to change the branch and we need to merge Mohan.
We need to check out from this branch to master branch, and then we have to create a new branch with these changes, with this headout like git switch -c new branch, and then we have to merge it, right? So that is what we have seen. So that is one way of doing the things, but here we are not doing that way. So just to show that, so if I checked out to this particular remote repository, remote tracking branch, I'm getting whatever I want to get. But this is not how we do when we are doing this, but it has a different approach. I'll tell you that. So now I'm simply switching to master again, git switch master. So I'm switching back to the master now. So I switched back to the master, and again I got only master files in my local repository. So now I need to get this repository onto the remote repository now, right? So how can I do that is, so let me explain you this. One second. So now there is something which is very important to understand here. Now we understood what is remote tracking branch, right?
So up to the remote tracking bunch, we got it more.
Now, so now we also understand checking out to this particular remote tracking branch is giving us it is giving us the files that we are needed, right? If we switch to this remote tracking branch, we are getting the details that is required. I mean, that future is reflecting here, but we don't want to go with that approach. Like, we don't want to go with detached branch approach. Instead, we will create a packed solution for this. I'll tell you what that solution is basically. So what basically is, there is something called as local tracking branches as well. So if we go to the next slide, so here we have two branches and we are looking at this. One is local branch and the other one is remote branch, and the other one is tracking branch, and we also have tracking branches. So we also have tracking branches. One is remote tracking branch and the other one is local tracking branch. So local branch is something which we know it's in our system, that we are very well aware. Remote branch also we are very well aware. It is like GitHub branch. So in middle of these two, we also discussed what is remote tracking branch is. Okay, and along with the remote tracking branch, we also have something called as local tracking branch. So this local tracking branch is nothing but local reference to remote tracking branch. So we have the remote tracking branch. Remote tracking branch is nothing but what we discussed. It is a local copy of it is in between local branch and remote branch, and it is a local copy of remote branch, right? So remote tracking branch is a local copy of remote branch. Remote tracking branch is a local copy of remote branch, and local tracking branch is a local reference to the remote tracking branch. So this is the reference of this local tracking branch, and this is like editable, and whereas remote tracking branch cannot be edited. So we can use get fetch to get the data onto the remote tracking branch, and for to get the data onto local branch we can use git push, git pull, or git fetch, whatever it is. We can use all the three. When you use git pull, all the code will be onto the local tracking branch, and we can use that. Okay, so now what happens is something that so now I was saying like local tracking branch is the local reference to the remote tracking branch, right? So to create this remote, let me give me a second. I just try to understand. I mean, just try to explain it in a better way. I'm not sure. One second. So I'll clearly explain this. Okay, so this can be used. So what happens is we have a remote repository. So you're clear until remote tracking branches, right?
Yes, Mohan.
Are you clear on local? Did you got what is local tracking branches?
So I got up to remote tracking branch, local tracking branch. So నాకు ఆర్ట్ వరకు అయితే అర్థమైంది మోహన్. సో లోకల్ ట్రాకింగ్ బ్రాంచ్ ఏంటంటే సో దే ఈజ్ ఎ బ్రిడ్జ్ బిట్వీన్ లోకల్ టు రిమోట్. ఓకే, సో అదే రిమోట్ ట్రాకింగ్ బ్రాంచ్ ఏంటంటే సో రిమోట్ నుంచి లోకల్ తెచ్చుకోవడానికి మధ్యలో ఒక సో ఈ రిమోట్ ట్రాకింగ్ బ్రాంచ్ అనేది అక్కడి నుంచి మనం లోకల్కి తెచ్చుకోవాలి.
ఓకే, అంతే
అంతే కదా.
ఆ రిమోట్ ట్రాకింగ్ బ్రాంచ్ నుంచి లోకల్ ట్రాకింగ్ బ్రాంచ్ కి మనం తెచ్చుకోవాలి. So now ఇప్పుడు the remote tracking branch is automatically created by the Git, but to create a local tracking branch we need to create you need to use a command called as git this is the command which you have to use to create a local tracking branch. Okay, to create a local tracking branch. So basically what happens is this remote tracking branch will get the latest information from the remote branch, and the local tracking branch is connected to the remote tracking branch and also gets the changes affected. So this remote tracking branch will get the changes from this remote branch, and local tracking branch is like a replica of this remote tracking branch. So whatever that are there on the remote tracking branch will be fallen onto the local tracking branch. So once it is on the local tracking branch, we can get those changes onto the local repository. So that is something which we are going to create now. So we are creating this local tracking branch using the command called as git branch hyphen track. So I am creating a new feature. So what is the branch name? It is future duplicate, right? Now I am creating a local repository of with name future duplicate. Okay, and what is that remote repository URL? So this is the remote repository URL that I wish to replicate, or for which I want to create a local tracking branch. So I'm copying this and I'm pasting it here. So this particular command will basically create us a local tracking branch. That is the command is git branch hyphen track future. So I say git branch hyphen track, and feature duplicate is the branch name. So I am creating a local tracking branch, and this is the syntax git branch hyphen track, and this is the local repository that I want to create, and for which I want to create it for the future duplicate. Okay, for this I want to create a future duplicate. So once I execute this, what happens is branch future duplicate set up to track remote branching changes. So we have a remote tracking branch here, which is future duplicate, and this feature duplicate on our local repository is set up to track remote repository. Okay, on the origin. So if I say git branch here, so what happens is we have three branches now, which is git branch, feature duplicate, and feature master. If I check out to that feature duplicate, feature hyphen duplicate. So now if I go back to my file, so look at this. Now we got the changes onto this branch feature duplicate. Okay, you're getting me? So it is very simple. So now I can explain you much better. So we created what is that we have done? We have created a remote tracking branch. So once remote tracking branch is created, we also need to create a local tracking branch. So once the local tracking branch is created using command called as git branch hyphen track future duplicate. This is the name of the local branch that you want to create, and which branch on the remote you want to track. So that is nothing but origin future duplicate. So this is the remote and this is the local branch,
Mohan,
and we are
small
using
from so when we want to get a file from remote to local, so just we need to create only local tracking branch, Mohan. Should we create remote tracking branch also?
sorry Prakash.
ఇప్పుడు రిమోట్ బ్రాంచ్ నుంచి లోకల్కి తెచ్చుకోవాలంటే మా లోకల్ రిపాజిటరీకి మనము ఓన్లీ లోకల్ ట్రాకింగ్ బ్రాంచ్ ఒకటి క్రియేట్ చేస్తే సరిపోతుందా, లేకపోతే రిమోట్ ట్రాకింగ్ బ్రాంచ్ కూడా క్రియేట్ చేయాలా?
రిమోట్ ట్రాకింగ్ బ్రాంచ్ యాక్చువల్గా గిట్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తుంది.
ఓకే ఫైన్.
సో రిమోట్ ట్రాకింగ్ బ్రాంచ్ అనేది యాక్చువల్ గిట్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తుంది. ఓన్లీ లోకల్ ట్రాకింగ్ బ్రాంచ్ మాత్రం మనం క్రియేట్ చేసి, సో we will establish a track between future duplicate and this duplicate. Now I got all the changes from the remote repository onto my local repository. Now here I will create some other file and I'll push this to the remote repository. So I'll create a text document with sample file 2. Okay, and now I'll add this to git add dot git commit -a -m, and this is like third branch 3. Let's say this is like third branch commit 1. Okay, when I do this, so this is pushed, I mean this is committed, right? So if I say git status, this is committed, we don't have anything now. Now let's say if I want to push the push the data to that remote repository, what I have to use, I have to say git push, right? So when I use git push, so what happens is I'm not giving origin and the master here. Remember that, I'll talk about that later. Basically, to push to the origin, we usually give git push origin master, but here we haven't gave that. I'll tell you the reason. But before that, let's just try to read this and do this. So it is saying the upstream branch of your current branch does not match the name of your local branch. So it says that the local branch name is future duplicate and the remote branch name is future duplicate, right? So on the remote branch, the name of the branch is future duplicate, but on the local it is future hyphen duplicate. So just to show you this, I created this. So one thing that you need to understand is whatever name that is there on the local branch has to be same on the remote branch. You need to maintain that sync, or else you have to, even you can push this using this command, but that is not really advisable, or else it would be a headache for us. So always make sure you have the same names from on the local as well as on the remote as well. So now what I'll do is I'll quickly delete all these things. I'll quickly delete that branch which is like local tracking branch with the name future duplicate, and now let me create a new branch with the same name. So what I'll do is I'll check out to master. So to just delete that branch, I need to check out to the master, and then what I have to do, I have to say git branch -d and the feature -duplicate. Okay, feature -duplicate. So I'm deleting this particular branch now. So if I say git branch, I have two branches now. Now what I have to do is, or else if I say git branch -a, we will get all the branches. So we have 3 tracking branches for the 3 branches on the remote, and we have 2 branches on the local. Now we want to create a local tracking branch for this particular branch feature duplicate, so that we will maintain a so whatever changes that are there on the remote branch will be there onto the that are there on the remote repository will be there on the remote tracking branch, and whatever that are there on the remote tracking branch will be there on the local tracking branch. And once the data is there, what is the data that is there on the remote tracking branch will be there on the local tracking branch once this is created, and when it is in sync with the remote. So once it data is there on the local tracking branch, we can just use that branch to just do anything that you want to do on the same branch on the remote repository. So they will be tightly packed. So the command that is used to create a local tracking branch for a particular remote branch is, the command is this, right? So git branch -track, and the local branch name has to be same as the remote branch name. It is feature duplicate, and the name is and the link is this one. So I need to copy this origin future duplicate. I'm copying this. So this is this future duplicate. I'm just making both the names same. Now I'm clicking on enter. So now you can see branch future duplicate set up to track remote branch future duplicate from the origin. So this branch on the local is tracking this branch on from the origin. Origin is nothing but the URL that we gave it over there. Okay, now we created again a now if you say git branch -a, we have 3 local branches and we have 3 remote tracking branches. So if I switch to that particular branch, which is like a feature duplicate, okay, so now I'm on this branch feature duplicate. Okay, Now if I go back to this particular local repository, so I'm creating a new file here. So even if you go to the remote repository and if you go to that feature duplicate, we have feature file, master file and the sample file text. So now what I will do is I will create a new file here, which is like sample folder and not a folder. Let me create a file directly. I'm deleting this and I'm creating a new file, new text document, and the file name is sample file 2. Okay, so I'm creating a new text file here. Now I'll add that and commit that. Okay, git add dot git commit hyphen a hyphen n. So now the whole intention here is we have seen how to get the data from the remote repository to the local repository by creating a local tracking branch, and by default remote tracking branch will be created when we execute git fetch. Okay, that we know. Once the remote when the remote tracking branch is created, we need to create a local tracking branch and we need to establish a sync between the remote tracking branch and the local tracking branch. So once we establish this sync, so this branch has all the details of the remote tracking branch, and that we were able to establish the link. So once we already established a link between these three, right, using git branch, we gave the local branch name and the URL of the remote tracking branch, right? So we already have done that. We have a command, so git commit hyphen. So basically we are establishing a pack of this local repository, remote tracking repository and the remote branch. So everything is packed. That's why we can just simply give git push and the git pull. So if I say git commit hyphen a hyphen m, and if I give some message here, so third branch 1. So now I have a file which is committed in my local repository. Okay, this is sample file 2, which is committed in my local repository. So if I want to push this to the remote repository, I can just say git push. Okay, I don't need to give anything. The reason is we already packed this everything. We already established this connection. Whatever we are talking about this, so we establish a connection between remote tracking branch and the local tracking branch by using git branch hyphen track, right? So everything is on track, so you doesn't need to again specify the URL. So if I say git push, so it will simply push the data from the local repository to the remote repository. Now if you go back to the remote repository and if you just refresh this, I mean to say, if you go back and come here to the feature, so this is like my feature branch. I'm going to my feature branch and it's just a refresh kind of thing that I'm doing. So if I come back to this feature duplicate, I have that file replicated here, sample file2.txt, right? So sample file2.txt, we got this here, sample file2.txt, right? So we got these two things here in the local repository. So this is how we get the data from that local repository to the remote repository and remote repository to the local repository. So we just need to establish this particular remote tracking branches. So there is a command called as git branch hyphen v, git branch hyphen vb. So this says, so if you see feature duplicate, it is already tagged to a local tracking branch, okay, which is again tagged to the remote tracking branch. So if that is done, you will basically see this kind of things, feature branch is tagged, whereas the future branch is not actually tagged, or a local tracking branch is not created for the future. That's why you're not seeing this. So let's try to create a local tracking branch for the future branch as well. So now what I'm doing is I'm creating a new new local tracking branch for hyphen track, and the name of the branch is future, name of the branch is future, and the URL for the feature is this one. So I'm just simply copying this, right click, copy, and I'm pasting that here. Paste that here. So when I do this, so a branch named feature already exists. A branch named feature already exists. Okay, let me switch to master. Git checkout master. So now I'm on master branch, and let's just try to create a remote tracking branch for feature. The reason is why it is showing is we already have a branch of feature, right? So that's why it is not actually creating a new branch. Okay, so that is the reason we were not able to create a new tracking branch or a new branch. So basically what happens is when you execute this, it will create a new tracking branch for the for that. So if you keep that tracking, if you create a tracking branch for the feature branch as well in the local, what you have to do is so what I guess. On the feature branch. So I'll switch to the feature branch now. Git it's already git checkout feature. Git checkout feature. Now in the future, let me add a new file and let me just push that. Feature sample is a text file that I created, and now let me push this. Git push origin feature. Okay. Once I have done that, everything up to date. Oh, I haven't committed feature file. Let me commit that. Git add dot git commit -a -n and the feature 2. So I committed this. Now git push origin master. Git push origin master. Origin, it's like a feature branch, right? We want to push this to feature branch. So once I execute this, what happens is it is actually pushing this. So we are going back here, and if you see the feature branch, we will be able to directly push using that origin master. So that is actually pushed here. Now let's say if I add a file here in the local repository, so I'm creating a new file here in the feature branch. We successfully packed the remote repositories, I mean future duplicate from the local to the remote. But now we are just concentrating only on the so what is it? New feature. So now I committed a new file here. So now this feature file has to be brought on to the local branch. So to do that, what I have to do is I need to create a remote tracking branch for this. I can simply do this way. So git fetch origin feature. So what happens when I do this? Git fetch origin feature, it will get the data from the remote repository to the. So if I open this, it will get the data from the remote repository to the.
So here we don't need to create local tracking branch. Mohan.
Local tracking branch, I'm just thinking of that only. We should be able to do that, but how git fetch origin feature. So when I say git fetch, I can do it this way. This should also be fine, I guess. So how I'll do is I'll delete that feature and then I will create that. Okay, I can do it this way. So how I'll do is I'll just switch to master. I'll switch to master and I'll delete the feature branch. Git branch -d. Okay, when I deleted that branch, we don't have feature branch anymore. Git branch. So now I will create a local tracking branch for that feature branch. So what I will do is, again I'll execute the same command, git branch -track -track, and this is feature, right? It is feature and the URL is origin /feature. Okay, once I execute this, so track is wrong. Something is wrong. Once again, there is something wrong.